Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing, testing. Is it going to work this time? Hello? 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 I figured it out. I plugged in a cable. What's up? How's it going, guys? I'm on my fourth monster of the last 24 hours. I bought a 4-pack and I drank a 4-pack. Woo! Can't sleep when when there's a war going on. Jesus Christ! Like of all the days for everything to go nuts. Me and Lau were talking. We were talking yesterday. We were like, okay, if I'm gonna stream, the market's gonna have to go insane, right? And Putin delivered. But no, it's pretty fucked up. Anyways, I'm on all caffeine, no sleep. So we'll see what happens here. My coding gets progressively more frantic the less I sleep. My girlfriend's watching TV. She got so hear that what that is. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna try and configure one more thing. All right, guys, how you doing? Is anybody trading? Anybody making any money? This has been it's been pretty nuts actually. Been pretty nuts. It's been wild. This is like I've been fully reformed from a degenerate trader to a completely sleep deprived software developer in the last 3 months. Back to my roots. All right, hold on. Yeah, Frag sniped the bottom on some testnet orders. It was pretty good. Testnet's the secret, you guys. If you ever want to be profitable, stick with testnet. Especially if you're actually testing. That's when you get the best entries. I'm on Adderall. No. I'm already Ah. I have enough of psychotic personality. I took I had like sleeping problems in high school and I did take Adderall for a little while, but it actually didn't do much. All right, hold on. Yeah, I don't remember sleeping this either. Oh. Did I make back what? No, I haven't been trading very much, and no, I have not made back my October losses, not even close. But I basically had to kind of refocus. I'll talk about it. Give me one more second. I'm trying to finish this last thing. One sec. One sec. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about the market? You want to talk about Tealstreet? It's been a long time. Yeah, so here's the situation. We are going live. Well, we are live. So I'm gonna actually we're officially out of beta. So the plan is so the plan is that this is it. This is our official production launch. So basically, here's the plan. You ready? I'm gonna leave the beta. We'll leave the beta server up for about a week and give you guys some time to transition. And then I'm gonna lock the beta server down so that we can basically have the environment clean, have everybody in one place. There's a few little nuances about this sort of migration. So we did migrate everyone's accounts. That was not an issue, but for security reasons, we did not migrate API keys. So what that means is basically you're going to have to re-add your API keys. It's just it was the safest way. You guys have the API encryption keys anyways. So to be honest, it's not something that we really have the tools to safely do. So the API encryption password for API keys isn't working. Is this on beta, Peter? Yeah, so go ahead and we've improved the encryption scheme a little bit in the production launch. Yeah, so go ahead and so this was probably this was you got liquidated. Yeah, so part of the migration, there was a point in time when we were upgrading the encryption scheme, and some of the changes may have impacted beta users while we were testing. And I think that is what would have happened to you guys. So my recommendation is to just go straight to the production server. Hold on, let me check one more thing. Will there be a troll box? Yeah, so we have our we have the troll box coming shortly. Sorry, I'm distracted, but I'm almost done here. Yeah, okay, so here's the situation on the troll box. So we have basically, we have a troll box coming, and the idea is it's basically going to hook directly into Twitch, since that's where our community is. So the plan is that it will basically just be, because the Twitch chat box is just an IRC chat client. So it's basically easy. I mean, that's how Chatty works, or any of these other tools that you guys probably are familiar with. So basically, we can just use that same protocol. We'll basically just hook right into the Twitch chat, and keep the community together. So instead of fragmenting, trying to like do too much, I mean, we thought about it for a while, and the only way it seemed to make sense would be if we are able to keep the community in one place. So you guys can use it or not. You can keep using whatever Twitch client you want. It doesn't matter. Will there be emotes? Yes, but it's gonna take. So, you know, this stuff is always harder than it seems like it should be, but that's just the way it is, right? So yeah, of course we're gonna have emotes. Well, you know, what would be the point? But it's gonna take, you know, we are basically almost done with the IRC integration. That's step 1. Step 2 will be emotes. Yeah. So okay. So I can just go over some stuff. Yeah. So and by the way, this is all live in production. So you are welcome to go. You can use all this. Okay. So here's some stuff. Let's just go over. First thing is this is obviously new. This is basically just a curated Twitter feed. It is right now you can choose to hide people that you don't want, and it will save that in your local storage. We don't have it to the point where you can actually add people, but you can actually convince Lat if you're extra generous. You can trade him. You can see if you can get on Lat's good side. And if you can convince him, he can add people to the feed. And then you can hide whoever you don't want to see. So you just have to so there we go. So that comes on to the second thing. Obviously, not everybody's going to want the Twitter feed. We knew that when we built all this stuff. So yeah, exactly. So before we ever built this, the first thing we did was to make sure that we had the ability to completely hide anything you don't want to see. Boom. There you go. And this is all using conditional rendering too. So for example, if you choose to hide the order book, that's going to save all that rendering. It's not, it's not just style. This is actually hidden using conditional rendering. So you're going to see, the more components you have, the more bandwidth your computer needs, right? So obviously the less you're rendering, the faster things will be. In general, Tealstreet should be pretty performant, but obviously it's just something to be aware of. So we've kind of gotten to a point where we've got so many modules now that we know not everyone is going to want everything. And we want to be able to build things that not everyone's going to want, right? When hiding negative feedback. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, so there's a bunch of like little things that'll be rolling out in the next week or two, but we just want to get you guys into the production environment as soon as possible. So that's the idea. But anyways, there's going to be features, lots of features coming. Frag is almost done with a risk profile. That's pretty wicked, but it's going to become, we want to build something that's basically got a bunch of modules, and then you decide what you want to use for your style of trading. So that obviously means that you have to be able to hide and show modules. So that was the step 1, right? To get React Grid layout to properly hide and show stuff. Yeah, so then we kind of built we built the Twitter module at the same time, knowing that not everyone would want it and that it would only work if basically it was easy to show it or hide it. So you guys can decide to use it. You can decide not to use it. Totally fine. Okay. Next thing. So this is the original chart. This is the original TradingView chart integration. This is just a widget, super basic. It's just pulled from TradingView's site. But what's nice about this is our first step to giving you some more flexibility with your charts. There's a lot more stuff that we want to do, but there's a really big, I know these two charts look similar, but let me tell you that they are not. Okay, so this chart here is being completely fed from our side. Okay, this is our data. We're sourcing everything. We're sourcing the candles. We're sourcing the stream of the candles. We're sourcing the history. We're fetching the candles. We're sourcing your positions. We're sourcing your orders, everything. And so what that means is you can't just look up whatever, symbol you want because it's not there. And there's no way, TradingView doesn't just let you serve that data. You don't get to integrate TradingView's professional grade chart and get access to all of their charting data feeds. So what that means is you get one or the other. So since the market has been so fucking tied to the S&P, right? I basically figured, well, okay, fuck that. We need to have basically the ability to have a secondary chart that's just for whatever else you want. So this is just the vanilla TradingView integration. This is just an iframe. It's a piece of cake. But what it lets you do is it lets you get all the stuff that you might need, right? So if you need to have the S&P, and especially on mobile, for example, but if you need to have the S&P and you want to have your actual chart, there you go. The reason so there's some nuance here. We're going to document a lot of this, but obviously this all takes time. So if you search inside of the built-in search box, that's all fine. The main problem is that just because of the way the web works, the outside site that is embedding the iframe can't actually read that data. So if you want this to remember what you stored, you have to use this sort of dummy search box up top. So if your goal is to have the chart remember itself next time you visit, refresh, whatever, then you just have to basically settle for, it's not that hard, but you don't get the fancy, TradingView search thing. So if you type it in here, it'll remember it. You can also configure the chart this is basic chart independent. So if it's independent, what that means is that as you change symbols, if you change symbols, it'll remember the symbol that you used for the basic chart. So if you always want to have the S&P, but you're trading a bunch of different, markets, no big deal. Basically, it will remember that market, right? So you can keep it linked, you can keep it separate, or you can keep it independent. So if you want to have a different comparison for every market, then you can change that setting. We also, there's some UI stuff. We'll fix that. This is a close position on chart. So this is basically, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people, and even I think I've done this, end up smashing the close position button on the chart on accident. So that by default now is on unchecked. So you can basically make sure that you don't accidentally, when you're trying to move your orders, smash that button. There's just the only thing to be aware of is because of the way the TradingView chart works, there is not a simple way to hide the actual button. So what that means is the button's still there, but if you click it, you just get an error. It's good enough. It's the best that we could do with the TradingView tools. Are we going to add more order types? Yes, absolutely. So this is what we had to do. We have to build the groundwork so that we can do all these things. The mobile app, the order types, all that stuff. Multiple account streaming is almost done. It's very close. There's a bajillion things, but the main thing is we wanted to have a foundation to build off of. And so that meant we had to get the groundwork done. There was bugs, there's, exchange integration problems. Some of them we're still having to work out. Some exchanges are really easy to work with. Bybit, BitMEX. Bybit and BitMEX. BitMEX is probably the best. And I've said that before, but their API is actually usable. Bybit's not bad. And then it's all downhill from there. So you go quickly descend into the depths of API hell as you get towards Binance and FTX and all that other trash. So it is a struggle to try and keep everything in sync, unified, and dealing with IP rate limits, having to just like keep everything happy. And then in addition, we had to do a bunch of back-end infrastructure building. So that meant dealing with like server analytics to keep track of stuff. So like logging if there's any errors, downtime stuff, failover, all that stuff. These are things that that end users don't see, but they're essential to have a long-term viable platform. And we're not done. Unfortunately, it's still an ongoing process, and it probably will be for a while. But we've made huge progress. So the last 2 months have not been features. It's basically been us getting everything on track so that we can now build features. And that's just the way we prioritized. We could have, like, there were just too many weak points that we wanted to work out before we jumped into building, scaled orders, for example, which is like super important. But we didn't want to punt sort of some of these other issues. We wanted to get everything clean and tidy. And that also included, notifications and stuff. So like, let me see. So we have, we have a full-on notification system. We have a way to sort of like communicate with you guys if there's issues or anything. Obviously Twitter too, but yeah, so just like a bunch, we just really tried to make the back end robust. I think for the next couple of days, there'll be little things that come up as more and more people get onto prod. Obviously, there's going to be things that are, part of the new architecture. So that's why we're going to leave the beta up for at least a week, give you guys some time. You can have both accounts going in case one thing goes wrong. If you're having issues with your API encryption password on beta, I think you'll just have to you just have to re-add your key or just go straight to prod. Can you use it on phone? Yeah, so you can absolutely can use it on phone. We have, again, the mobile app, we've had to keep it on the back burner still, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. You can use it in the same way that, yeah. I was messing with my layout. So yeah, it's you can use it in the same way that that it's always been usable. And this is how I trade. This is how I've traded on mobile for 2 years now. This is like the only way I trade. So this is what I do, and you'll see me post on Twitter too, right? So I keep the S&P up there. I have my chart down here. Lock that bad boy. Boom. You've got your fat finger lock, just to make sure you don't accidentally slam something that you're not supposed to. Keeps things nice and tidy. You can monitor your trade without worrying about smashing a button you don't mean to. All that good stuff. The React grid layout is still in use here. It's a little tricky on mobile. Mobile's a little finicky, but it's still usable. You're just gonna have to set your layout, and you can make it work. I recommend on mobile, if you have trouble scrolling, try and get to the corners of the app, and you can scroll more easily. But basically on mobile, I'd say once you find a layout, go ahead and lock it at the top so that you don't have to deal with the accidental moving of the tiles, right? Yeah, so it works great on mobile. You can save it as just like a web app on most, I think, on Android and iOS, which is pretty convenient. Works just fine. Works better than any mobile trading app that I've used, because even though sure you're dealing with the web, which is a little bit finicky, the upside of having things like quick orders to be able to quickly trade, being able to see your orders on the chart and set the price on the depth chart like that, being able to trade directly on the chart on mobile. These are things that I just can't compromise on. So yeah, so for me, it's just it is what it is. It's much better than anything else. Okay, next, let's get out of here. Boom. What else we got? Okay. This one's been in, I got it fresh here. Yeah. See, I'm gonna. All right. So yeah, we got full screen, which is nice. Keeps things really tidy. Some people were talking about wanting to hide things. This isn't quite the same, and I think for some people it's better, but some people maybe it isn't exactly what they want. We can still work on hiding them, but this was a really convenient solution as just a way to sort of give you some ability to clean things up. So yeah, so you can hide things. You still got notifications still work. Everything's fine. So what else? Oh, we did so we basically finished all the conversion stuff too. Yeah, hey, what can you do? Okay. So with conversions now, you can trade in the base or the quote currency for any contract. So here we can see if you're on, do I have an API key here? You want to give me your lat? Give me that testnet. Give me a testnet BitMEX API key. Okay. So let me see if I can. All right. Yeah, so you can do the base or the quote regardless. Hello. Hello. There we go. All right, you can trade in the base or the quote. Doesn't matter what the future is, linear or inverse. But not only can you do that, but you can actually convert you can convert everything on all the windows independently. So if you're trading Bybit inverse, which is sized in US dollars, and P&L is in Bitcoin, but you're not used to that. Let's say you're on FTX. Let's say you trade on FTX, right? You're used to FTX. You're used to trading linear futures, which are sized in the base currency, which means linear futures sized in the base currency. That means that BTC USD or BTC perp would be sized in units of Bitcoin, P&L paid out in dollars. You're now trading somewhere else. You're confused. You don't like that feeling. No problem. Boom. Switch it to Bitcoin. Now, not only can you see the Bitcoin size here, but you can also see the Bitcoin size on the chart. And it's also corrected for the different price you're at. So for example, at this price, we're looking at a $10,000 position or order, but that's actually a 0.24 Bitcoin order. There we go. And if you move it down, because the price is relative to the actual price of the order, the conversion is the price of the order, you can see that there's a little bit of a variance as the order changes since the price of the order is changing. You can do the same thing for your position. And it also works for things that have contracts. Let me see if I have anything in here with contracts. Oh, is this in here? No, that was bad. We've done so much testing. It's been woo. You trade BTC. Bragg, anything else I'm missing? I'm running on about 25% brain capacity. There's like a bajillion things we want to do. Indicators, we want to get a bunch of cool indicators. We can get open interest, we can get liquidations, we can get long short ratio account stuff, we can pull in anything. So with the TradingView integration, we can basically just put any data we want on the chart. So that's one thing. A bunch of custom order types. So obviously this whole module is going to get flushed out with scaled orders, with chaser orders. We have a bunch of other cool ideas for orders. We have the risk profile coming. We have a few basic things that are coming. Yeah. So leverage will be out like this week. Leverage. there's a few other things. So there's some artifacts of just the fact that I originally was the main customer of Tealstreet, and there are things that just I never built because I just didn't matter to me. But obviously, you want P&L after you close a trade. Okay, so there's this whole thing about P&L and the different ways exchanges deal with P&L, and it's kind of nuanced. Basically, some exchanges will keep track of your daily P&L. I'm talking about BitMEX. I'm talking about Bybit. Those kind of exchanges. They will keep track of a daily rolling P&L, which is very convenient and makes everyone's life easy. Other exchanges don't. And so what that means is you are kind of forced to try and run the calculations yourself. And it's not hard, really. It just requires some implementation. So that's something we need to do, but it kind of goes beyond that. So then you get into this whole idea of like, well, if you're going to calculate P&L, why not just build journaling? I mean, the stuff we've built here, when you consider the security and read-write ability of API keys and rate limits and real-time data streams, WebSocket data streams, that level of complexity supersedes any sort of like journaling functionality. Like when you're building a trading journal, you're basically dealing with static data. So you do a one-time pull or whatever, like on CoinMarketMan, which is a great product. But on CoinMarketMan, you show up and you press a button, and they pull in the data, which means they don't have to do any streaming. They're not dealing with real-time data at all, right? So what that means is we could and will build those tools. It's not that that hard. It's just about priorities. We need a little bit more time to get a few things ironed out, but then I think we'll just do a poll. Once we've got the basics we need, so there's a few missing things. Leverage needs to just get out there. The ticker tape. There's a few other random things. But then I think we do a poll and figure out what you guys want us to focus on. There is also the possibility of expanding the team pretty rapidly based on a few factors that we have in the works, which would mean potentially increasing our output by in order of magnitude, or at least more than linear, I'm hoping. So if that were to happen, then that would make things just hopefully take off, because it's a lot of work. I think there's no way to convey how much work it is to build good software, especially, there's lots of great things about building on the web, and it's lots of tools, but there's also a lot of challenges. There's lots of things that you just get into the weeds, and it gets, there are things that most people don't even think about. CORS headers is like the canonical example. Like, people don't, you don't even know what CORS headers are until you're trying to fetch web data, and you can't because you're on the web, you're on the browser. So, anyways, yeah, that's basically it. I'm like pretty exhausted, but you guys want to talk about anything else? Market? There's not much to say. It's been fucking nuts today. Just been putting up, putting down. Yeah, we don't have to talk about the market. What's the Tealstreet? Okay, that's just directly right now pulling from the Tealstreet Twitter account for updates. But this is so you can, okay, so first of all, you can hide the entire feed, right? No problem. But you can also hide individual you can hide individual people, right? But you can also You can also hide individual columns or individual feeds here too. So you can go into here and decide that you don't need that, and you want to have bots, but you don't want to have the bell notifications. Let's see, you don't really care about liquidations at all. Sure, that looks good. Boom. There you go. Any change color, Bybit, long, short, entry, exits in different colors. So these are all like really great ideas, but they kind of get into more like sort of abstract features. So the idea is why hard code a bunch of colors when we could probably just make a theme system for you guys, right? So instead of just building a bunch of like random color choices, I think that the next step will be to build out more proper customizations, a theming system kind of in the vein of CryptoWatch. But again, that takes time, right? So it's like, do we spend X amount of time building a theme, or do we build scaled orders and other features? So it's just a balance, right? And it's just, you're never going to be able to do it all, or not as fast as you want. So I would say that probably changing the color scheme is not a huge priority. There's also a bunch of CSS tools you can use. There's a bunch of plugins you can, this is all client side. So if you want to mess with color schemes, you can do it with a bunch of extensions that'll help you. But yeah, I mean, we'll get there, right? 100%. Just a matter of time. Yeah, Lucardi, I think that's pretty much the goal. Yes. Are we going to get there anytime soon? Not at all. Will we get there eventually? If nothing stops us, which I don't see why it would, yes. We have the ability to get data from everywhere. We can pull in data from a Bloomberg terminal, maybe. Probably not legally. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But we can get a bunch of cool stuff. We can get everything from sort of like the coinalize indicators, which people use for open interest and liquidations and stuff like that, to journaling, to real-time news feeds, to all that kind of stuff. What am I forgetting, Craig? But yeah, Lucardi, no, that's right on point. That's basically the goal. Yes, the goal is to have something that can do it all. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, you gotta try and stress test our servers. I think that's the goal right now, you guys. See what you can do. There's a few other cool things. So we've been pretty transparent about how we make money, right? But basically the system is that we make money off of rebates, right? From orders. It's kind of like payment for order flow, but since it's always going to the same exchange, it's not really. So what that means though is that we have a revenue stream that gives us the flexibility to do other features that don't necessarily bring in money, right? So what that means is we can build something like journaling, okay? We can build essentially crypto or a CoinMarketMan type journaling software, but not charge for it, right? Because we are making money through these other means. And I mean, our goal is to build stuff and not have to set up any sort of paywall, because I think as soon as I can't promise obviously, but the idea is the idea is like, a paywall make everything harder. So if we can make money in one area, that doesn't mean we have to only build those features. We can build features like journaling because they'll bring in users on their own, right? And so users will use Tealstreet for the, they'll use Tealstreet for the sake of journaling, and then maybe start using it for trading, or they'll be trading and they'll be more dedicated to use it, right? So it's all about an ecosystem, right? It's not like every feature we build has to itself bring in revenue, but the entire ecosystem is profitable on the whole, right? So it gives us a lot of flexibility to do cool things and potentially build some of the stuff you guys already love, but maybe make it easier, more accessible, all in one place, and not have to charge per module. So you don't have to have a subscription to the heat map service, right? Like, imagine we have a heat map. Imagine we have journaling. Imagine we have open interest liquidation data. Imagine we have a multi-account streaming. Imagine we have portfolio dashboards, right? And then imagine you don't have to pay for CoinMarketMan. You don't have to pay for your tax service and your wallet sort of aggregation service. You don't have to pay for your whatever. So you kind of have like a one-stop place. Now, obviously, the business model depends on things being profitable, but I mean, we're pretty optimistic as long as the market doesn't completely shit itself, right? Potential to trade on DEX. Yeah, there's no reason we can't. So it's all about API integrations. We put in a bunch of effort to build a sort of robust abstraction layer between Tealstreet and the APIs. We basically forked CCXT, which I've talked about plenty, but I'm sure you guys know. We forked CCXT, and then I mean, we had to do a lot to make it work. But what that means is that we have a really powerful layer between Tealstreet and the APIs, and this is all client. It's all on our server, so there's no latency. There's no sending it to somebody else. We're not using a third-party service that would be a point of failure. So what I mean is, like, there are services out there that try and do unified API, like API kind of as a service. And some of them are okay. Most of them aren't good enough to work. Like, you would be missing so many features that you wouldn't be able to use it. But there are ones out there, but there's problems. The first problem is if they go down, you go down because you rely on them. The second problem is they have to update their, like, if an exchange changes their API, right? You are relying on them to update their software so that your software can work. And I don't know for sure what Quant Tower does, but it's possible that Quant Tower had a major outage for Bybit maybe a year ago, like a couple months where Bybit wasn't working. And it's very possible that could have been a third-party software integrator that just wasn't updated, right? So the bottom line is that we've built an abstraction layer, but it's in-house. And so that gives us the ability to fix things. If there's ever anything wrong, as long as the exchanges have a solution, we can fix it and make it work, okay? So that's the idea. That doesn't mean that we're gonna have a bajillion nines of uptime at all. In fact, it might mean we have more downtime sometimes, but what it does mean is that we can fix things on the fly when they need to be fixed, and we'll not be stuck waiting for someone else. And it means that we can integrate anybody. So if the DEX you want is not something that maybe would automatically be a given to be supported, well, that's not a problem. As long as they've got a WebSocket feed for data and they've got a REST API. As long as they have a WebSocket feed for data and a REST API, good to go. So now I'm not saying we can just implement anything, but we can. I'm not saying we will, but we can. Hold on a second. I gotta take this call. Hold, please.